Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming by. Today, we have some little issues to touch on, and as it affects us, these issues affect us all. So, but depends on from what angle you be looking at it from. So, but from this angle, very angle today, let's address it the way it is. It has to do with what is going on or what have been going on because of some certain things that took place in the polity, both in the diaspora and also in Nigeria, or even in Africa as a whole. So, but let's touch on this very particular one. This one happens in Nigeria, or it happens because of what happens in Nigeria. So, you remember some few weeks ago, or maybe about a month now, just after the elections of February 25th, because the election was so rigged, a lot of people were so angry to the extent that some people started to destroy their passports, and things like that, and they were coming on the social media to do that. So, but I guess they learn it from the best of the best. Because one of the mentors that's displayed that kind of characteristics in the past during an election year was OBJ himself, Obasanjo, when he turned the PDP card, you know, with the medias, cameras all around, and things like that. People never expected that. So, but he did it anyway. So he made a lot of headlines then. So, but some of our people has not taken this thing to another level by tearing even their national passport. And don't forget also, Wally Shoyinka also did the same thing. I can't remember now if he turned his own then, but I think he did because when he said if Donald Trump should win the American presidency, that he will tear his American citizenship. I don't understand all this whole thing. You can tear your passport. It doesn't mean that you're no more a national. You know, you can as well apply for a new passport the next day. So to me, this is just another show of shame and bragadash and bullshit and things. So we have to touch on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, before I forget, because sometimes I always forget. Before I forget to say it at the beginning, please, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Subscribe right now, you know, by clicking the subscription, buttons, and as well, hitting on the notification bell so that as soon as we get a new video, you'll be the first, to be alerted. You know, I mean, the first to get it. So that's what I'm talking about here. So please give us a comment, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. So before I get carried away, it's good that I said that. I feel better now. So, so the definition of self-hating is what we are about to talk about here. So no matter how you tear your passport, your national passport, national ID, and what have you, it doesn't make you somebody else that you are not. If you like, you have an American passport with Nigerian passport combined, a European passport with Nigerian passport combined, and you choose to tear the Nigerian passport simply because the Nigerian passport right now does not have that value that you will want to you know, attach it to, in comparison with the other passports or the first world, so-called first world passport that you now have. So, but it doesn't change anything because if you like, you have American passport and things like that. In the end, when the chips are down, then you'll be reminded of where you're from because your identity remains the same. Ah, man, I don't understand. Your identity remains the same. So, what the hell is this? You getting angry over nothing. You getting angry over some bunch of crooks, politicians who ran an election in order for them to, or and twist, the people's way, in order for them to feel relevant. This is just for the time being, you know, just for the time being. It won't last forever. But that land remain your land. That land, your identity remains there. Your great grandfather was buried there. Your great grandfathers were all buried there. Or mothers were all buried there. So the spirit of your great grandfathers and ancestors remains there. The moment you step into that soil today, then something will ignite, whether positively or negatively. So it doesn't really matter what you are doing. You might think you are fooling everybody. You are fooling yourself, as far as I'm concerned. I too am angry that the election did not were not allowed to, you know, to to be pronounced, the way the people want it to be pronounced. You get what I mean? So the people's vote should count. That I agree. But what I'm saying is, don't allow some bunch of minority self, I don't know what to call them, you know, all these self-hating politicians as well, you know, to take your pride and dignity from you, and therefore stripping you of your own identity. So, and you playing along by destroying that passport, you are just trying to empower them the more, to do what they are doing and to get away with what they are doing. Rather, we have to give them the impression that no matter what, even if we live at home or abroad, that we are still going to fight that system of theirs, and bring them down and take that power back from them. Because at the end of the day, these people they do run back to Europe every now and then, to come and show their faces and try to show their loot or try to brag around to show off what they've been able to amass for themselves, either by coming here to buy houses, etc. Why you, who has been in the UK for years, paying mortgages for ordinary two-bedroom flats, for years and years, they will come and pay in cash, for for a heavy plots of land, or acres of land with a nice duplex or duplexes, and even combined with office buildings and things like that, with the people's sweat. All these things we know because at least we should be able to know what kind of salary that these people are placed on back home and the kind of work they do. So all of a sudden, when somebody becomes a House of Assembly member, then you start to see their children coming abroad to buy houses, buying flats and things like that, when they've never paid one single tax in their own home country. They're already coming to Europe to come and pay tax for property. This person has never worked one day in his life. He's a student or she's a student. All of a sudden, they are buying five-bedroom duplexes, in the city of London, or in some of the top topmost areas or European cities, or even in America. They're buying beach houses also as well. These are realities. I'm not talking of the kind of cars they drive, like Ferrari and stuff like that, you know, Bugatti and the rest. So they do that, and they have boats, all kinds of yachts, etc. So now we all know all these things. So, but what I'm saying is that don't let these people, these politicians, take away your pride, your identity from you simply because you are angry. Let that anger endure for only a second. Then the next other days and weeks and months is for you to re-strategize on how to take that power back or strip them of that power that they forcefully took from you. So that is it. So the definition of what to call those who are proud of their identity. There are a few different terms that could be used to describe people who are not proud of their identity. So the few possibilities goes like this. So what I'm saying here is that no matter what, your identity remains your identity. It doesn't matter what you think you are. at the moment, so you have to be able to keep what you can. That is self-preservation as far as identity is concerned. Because when you start to lose your identity bit by bit, at the end of the day, when it gets to your children and your children's children's turn, then maybe you'll be able to lose everything and you just become another kind of one of those people that belong to those you know those sets of people who has lost their identity completely and are confused. So self-hating, he said the term is often used to describe individuals who belong to a particular group but express negative attitudes or beliefs about that group. So you belong to a group, you belong to a country, but the only thing that you remember about or you analyze about that same country is only negativities, you know, and yet you belong to the same group. So how do you think others will see you? Do you think by doing that, others will be seeing you positively, or others will be seeing you like, you know, something special? I don't know. So if you are denigrating your own group or your own family, for example, you are denigrating yourself. It's as simple as that. So it's either that person feel very insecure or one of those things. If someone is not proud of their identity, it may be because they feel insecure about that identity of theirs, right? They may worry that others will judge them, or will judge them, or that they don't measure up in some perceived standard. So there must be a problem why this person might be doing that. So to me, I call that complex, either inferiority complex or whatever kind of complex that is. Or the person feel disconnected with this community. Sometimes people may not feel a strong connection to their identity, which can make it difficult to feel proud of it. This may be because they haven't had any positive experiences related to their identity, or because they don't feel like they fit in with others who share that same identity. You know, or there may be some conflict of what have you. That is, if someone has mixed feelings about their identity, they may not feel a strong sense of pride. For example, they may have or they may have had negative experiences related to their identity to make it difficult to feel proud. But they may also recognize the importance of that identity in their life. You see? So all these things compound of all of these definitions. So there are so many other things that we can talk about here in this regard. So a few of them are that may be used to describe this whole thing, or someone who is not proud of their identity, is that maybe that person is fully ashamed. Like in the case of those people who were telling their passports, they were ashamed and embarrassed, to be called Nigerians because maybe they felt like maybe they work in such an environment with some I don't know, mixed nationalities in offices, etc. And before this, this whole time, sorry, this whole time when the preparation for the election was ongoing, maybe they were always talking about how things were going to change and things like that, you know. So and like I know a lot of people left the U.S., sacrificed their money, their hard-earned cash, left Europe, go to Nigeria or went to Africa to go and vote or to go and try to even campaign before the elections, in order for them to play their own roles or the role that they feel that they is supposed to play. So some people move their vacation, from December to to this time of year to February, just to make sure that they will have the time to to go there. So and at the end of the day, they were very disappointed. So as to how the things went, so that could have as well, be very embarrassing For them coming back to the office and everybody was saying, hey, boy, so what happened? Your candidate did not win the election and things like that. Then you start to explain yourself like, yeah, that guy was rigged out and this they say, yeah, everybody always say that when they lose, you know. So that kind of thing. So that could have been maybe a thing that brought about those kind of negative reactions and things like that. So but you cannot say. So this could be due to some negative stereotyping or discrimination, that they are faced related to their identity. Because, as you know, somehow you get to some airports when you are traveling with a Nigerian passport, then you are set aside or you are being scrutinized, unlike every other person who is holding an African passport and things like that, or another third world, so-called third world country passport, So with all these things, so hopes were in, we're at a very high peak, before the elections, hoping that Peter Obi was going to win and things will change, gradually. So nobody was expecting him to perform a miracle, but a lot of Nigerians, especially the youth, believe that no matter what, if somebody like Peter Obi takes over, or grab the mantle of power or leadership, that definitely things will change drastically. It will be between, if you compare, then what will happen between now and between the Buhari's regime and that Peter Obi regime, that it will be a comparison between night and day, which is Buhari's regime being the night and the Obi's, you know, administration being the day or the daylight. So that was the sunshine that we are all expecting. So I will still hope that that will still come no matter what, through the court, proceedings and rulings. So maybe the people are disillusioned. Sometimes people may not feel proud of their identity because they have become disillusioned with it. They may feel that the ideas or values associated with their identities are not being upheld by those who claim to represent it. You see what I mean? So like the leaders, etc. So who does not actually know what they represent, because they just misbehave sometimes. They carry that name, representative of Nigeria, this and this and this, and they go to UN, go to everywhere, and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, they don't even know what they represent. They just misbehave. Fooling a country of 200 or something million people. You are just fooling them and making them feel like, they are nothing. Meanwhile, this country is highly, made up of, highly intellectuals, who are represented in, in the, let's say, in those high, you know, high offices worldwide, like the World Bank and IMF and every other, WTO, and all kinds of institutions that represent, the world economy at, at the highest peak. So, and Nigerians are doing very fine outside of the country. How come the Nigerians who are inside their countries are not given, the right to exercise those things or given the opportunities to grow, within their own country and things. So these are the things that actually pain most Nigerians because I remember back in the days, if you tell somebody that you are from Nigeria, etc., even the white people, they will say, oh, Nigeria is very rich. What are you doing here in Europe? And stuff like that. You start to wonder, what the hell is this guy talking about? Does it mean that America is not rich? That Americans cannot travel to other parts of the world? You know? Does it mean that all Americans are rich? So if Nigeria is very rich, does it mean that all Nigerians are rich? If you think that they are here or they are in Europe because of economic what have you and things like that. Some people are just here just to study. I'm not here for the money. In fact, where is the money even? So that is it. So you see graduates coming to Europe here to to come and start hustling and at the end of the day, some of them are working in clinic companies, and things like that. A graduate, a medical student, or somebody who is a medical graduate, you know, oh man, you know. So we should be at least doing something back home and stuff like that. If you stay home, stay for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, no job. What do you expect that person to do? He just want to travel out of that atmosphere before he goes crazy for his own sanity. So that's how a lot of people start to travel out. Some people now when they travel out, then it becomes another thing because traveling out and coming out and find out that the expectations are not met the way it's supposed to be. Then going back home again with empty hand becomes another problem. So you just want to do any kind of job, whether it's a cleaning job or and what do you call it, kabu kabu, snooder or what have you, and things like that. Just to make ends meet. You know, or even work in the factory and stuff. Why is being controlled by those who are beneath him when it comes to educational qualifications and what have you? Maybe even another Nigerian who did not even go to primary school is the one that is his boss. That is his boss in that same factory. You know? So, but what do you expect him to do? Then he play cool, or sometimes he play foolish, in order for him to just secure a little bit of space there and get, some little money to take care of himself and even be taking care of families back home. So that's what it is. So all these things represent or brought about all these issues that we now experience about same people out of frustration tearing their Nigerian passport and identities. So somehow I do blame them, but somehow I do not blame them so much. So but they should know why these things are happening, and they should know how to tackle the root of the problem. That the root of the problems are the criminal politicians, etc. Because the same thing happened before when this democracy or democratic uh, dispensation was about to come into force in 1998, 1999. So a lot of individuals who are intellectuals who were supposed to go into politics, they pull back, because they just couldn't believe that the military was about to hand over. So, and by creating that, that space where they pull back from, that's something you have to give. So some other people, who have some ulterior motives, sponsored and galvanized others to fill that same position. And today we can see who those people were. Those people were the touts, from the motor parks, the agberos, and the illiterates, and all kinds of desperate people, thieves, armed robbers, etc. So at the end of the day, they are the ones controlling. They are the ones controlling the economy today. You know. So they are the ones controlling Nigeria today. So that is why we now have the Nigeria that we now have today. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the way it is. So, in different some people may simply not feel strongly, you know, not strongly one way or the other about their identity, you know. So, about their identity, they may not see it as a defining aspect of their personality, or may not have had the experiences that have caused them to feel proud of it. So, it is important to know that not everyone feels a strong sense of pride or connections to their identity, and that's okay. Everyone has their own experiences and perspectives, and it is important to respect and support people regardless of how they feel about their identity. So that is it. So I thank you very much, for starting with me, and I think we have to take it from there, and so please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you've not, and help us to share this broadcast so that everyone can see it and let it go viral. I bless you. Give us thumbs up and share our videos. Drop us a comment. Thank you. Thank you very much.